All right, and make sure you can hear me. And then also, can you check? Yeah, can you check to make sure that you can see both screens or both sides?
Yep.
Let me get some water too.
Yep. Hey guys, how you doing? We're
How
just
you
getting.
doing? Just setting everything up. Um, can you see everything? Beautiful. Yeah, just gotta get some water. Just came back into town from DC, so much going on, but I'm here. Gotta get some water. Just came back.
Yep. Good.
All right, beautiful. All right, so I wanted to bring this video up, this talk up, because I know everyone is curious to know the APYs for if you were able to bring your own your own pulse chain validator node to PyPool, what would be the actual APY? I know that the APR for a typical validator with 32 million pulse is about 9.9%. I think last time I checked, it was about 9.94. But I'll just round it down just a little bit. It's just around that range. Um, that's really good. That comes out to, at this point in time, somewhere around like 120, $130, somewhere around that range for the whole year. And so on our protocol, you would bring basically half of the amount of collateral, which is the 16 million pulse, but you will also need at least a 25% minimum in PPY, which is going to be our native token. And I basically wanted to show you all just the numbers that I'm looking at right now. I have a calculator that basically is going to show the amounts earned on our protocol. This is just hypothetical on testnet. I also have a mainnet calculator too that I'll go over, since obviously don't want to go over the testnet numbers too much. The mainnet's where it's at. So I can get into it. Let me actually make sure that you can see everything, and it does look like you can see everything. If anything, I can also zoom in a little bit more too. Um, so first things first, let me make sure I grab the correct Pulse validator price, because that's always going to be important. Shout out to Validator Dashboard if they're watching. Um, I'm going to take the cost of the validator, and I'm going to paste it into my little calculator here. And so the initial PPY price is, and a lot of this is also going to be the assumption that we start um, at TGE. So our TGE is going to be at 3 cents starting. And so the price in itself is 3 cents. The total rewards amount is actually going to be based off of the last amount that was made in our testnet environment. So if I actually go to Remix, and then I go down to the claim node ops, I can see the get reward cycle total, and this was the last amount, which is 383,952 900 yeah 383,952.15. So just make sure I have that, and I do. And so even just kind of taking a step back on our protocol, 85, like, for every reward cycle, which on testnet every 8 days, on mainnet it's going to actually be every 28 days. But every 28 days, basically close to a month, there will be more PPY that will be basically inflated into the system. And that's essentially how the validator operators or node operators are going to receive their rewards. So for testnet, it's every 8 days. So this was the last value that I was able to track and I was able to see. So I have here that the Pulse validator price is what it is. Half validator cost, basically the 16 million Pulse is this price. And then the 25% collateralization is $161.96. That is how much PPY you would need if the price of PPY was at 3 cents. And so that would equate to 5,398 PPY or 0.67 PPY. And then I had to basically add in some stuff that would actually relate to what I built as far as the smart contracts or whatnot. So the subtraction amount and the effective PPY staked, which is there's a calculation inside for that too. And so it's showing that the percentage total amount PPY staked for this individual is 0.09%. And so the rewards for this individual would, in this case, would be about 330.06 in PPY. The monthly rewards in PPY would be almost $10. The annual amount will be $118.82 in PPY. And then you have the additional Pulse rewards. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. So a typical validator, again, if you do almost 10% from the APR, you're getting somewhere close to about $120, almost $130. On our platform, because the rewards are distributed between the node operators and the liquid stakers, there's going to be a distribution of about 52.5% to the node operators and 57.5% to the node operators and 42.5% to the liquid stakers. We have to make sure and ensure that the liquid stakers are getting their fair share. And that's the whole premise of liquid staking in the first place, is that the liquid stakers are providing the necessary pool for the individual or individuals that want to become a validator on our protocol with half the amount needed to actually validate with the traditional validator. So the liquid stakers have to get their fair share as well. So the Pulse rewards for the entire year for the actual liquid, or not liquid staker, but for the actual validator or the person that validate on PyPulse would be about $73.76 in Pulse. But the total annual rewards in USD, when you combine the Pulse rewards and you combine the annual PPY rewards, again, assuming that the person is validating for a whole year, would be about $192.58, at least for right now, compared to the price of where it's at now. So that would bring the total APY to 23.78% with 25% collateralization. And you are comparing this with a normal validator that is bringing you 9.9% APR. And so what does this all mean? Simply put, why put in 32 million Pulse for a normal validator when you can put in 16 million? You may have to just wait a little bit longer for the other 16 million to be pulled together via the liquid stakers. But once that happens, then you're essentially going to be earning more than double on our protocol, because you're earning 2 tokens instead of 1. Now, you would be earning more Pulse as a traditional validator, but you will be earning more APY because you're earning the PPY token as well. And so I had brought up another screen, basically just to show just one example. Actually was messing around with some of the numbers. And so for this example here, the PPY staked is 11,956.16. And mind you, I actually messed around with this just a little bit before coming on here. So some of the PPY actually did get slashed, but the amount of rewards that the person earned for this cycle was 732.33 PPY. And so if I was to actually take this value here, which is the PPY required for collateral, I can actually replace this value and I can paste it. And I would see that the APY would actually jump to 41.60%. This is assuming that the person is going to put up about 37.36% collateral in PPY. And the max on our protocol is going to be 150%. And so if I were to look at the values, again, I did mess around with this a little bit, but the value is actually 730.986. This was 732.33 PPY. I can also do another example. I did actually mess this up just a little bit, but let me see if I can actually find it real quick. Let's see if I go to this dashboard here, the 25% collateralization, this person actually just put in 4,000 PPY. So if I was to actually take this value here and turn this to 4,000 and press enter. So even at the very lowest, if you put in, it shouldn't get this low, but if it does get, fairly low for 25%, then I won't say that. It's possible. Anything's possible. But let's say in this example, it does get to that amount. Well, just using the calculator, the amount of rewards was 244.5555. Here it's saying 2,445.56. There was something internal on my end that I did as far as a mistake, but the actual value was supposed to be 244.556. So this calculator indeed does work. Another thing that I can do too is, well, we're looking at the price of Pulse right now. What if not what if, I know the price is going to increase, as more people actually use Pulse Chain and, just more network usage. So we'll increase the Pulse validator price to, let's say, actually, we won't do that here. We'll do that for mainnet. So the same thing applies for mainnet. The calculator is fairly similar. The only difference is the amount in inflation that happens on mainnet, considering that on testnet, it's every 8 days for the cycle, reward cycle. On mainnet, it's every 28 days. So that's about 8 times 3.5. That gives you 28 days. So the numbers in itself would be just up, or the total amount of rewards would be just multiplied from testnet by 3.5. So if I were to look at some of these values, then I can see that it still translates very well. 25% collateralization, assuming 3% PPY price from TGE, still gives you the 23.78% on mainnet. Now let's just say that, let's do this first. Let's actually increase the validator price. So let's say over time, the price of Pulse does go up significantly. Let's say, let's go back to March numbers. So it was roughly 8,000 or so. So the Pulse validator price in itself, what you would notice is that the APY actually would stay fairly consistent, 23.78, even with the Pulse price increasing. What truly matters is the total reward amounts that's going to actually come in to the Pi Pool system or our liquid staking protocol. So if this increases or decreases, then this APY value would decrease. If the PPY price actually does increase, then that also, or increase or decrease, then it does also affect the APY. But for this example so far, you would see that the total PPY stake 0.15%. You can see that the half validator costs 4,000. The collateral in itself, 25% of the half validator costs. This is 1,000 for PPY. So it's saying that you would need 33,333.33 PPY for the collateral. And so when we go down to the rewards, that's basically this person with that percentage of collateral would be earning about 2,037.96 PPY. That will come out to a monthly reward in about $61.14. Annual PPY rewards in dollars, 733.67. And then the additional Pulse rewards would actually jump to 455.40, which would give you the total annual rewards in USD of 1,189.07. Again, that would equate to the 23.78%. Now, let's say that the price of PPY does go up. Oh, no, let's start down. Let's say that mainnet launches, PPY starts off TGE at 3 cents, but the asset in itself, something happens, right? It shoots, 3 cents, and it may drop down to a cent for, a certain period of time, right? So if that happens, then the initial price in itself, it still would be very similar, which shows that the actual amount and the APY is still going to be very similar. Let's see, what if it goes up to 10 cents? So it went up a percentage. So it really, the rewards amount, that matters too. So again, let's say one period it does go up to, which is fairly consistent, but we could just say, what if it does go up to, 1,400,000.52, then it does indeed go up just a little bit. So that's always going to be very important. Validator price in itself, more people are going to be earning a little bit more in the Pulse on our protocol, not as much as a standalone validator, but again, you're using 16 million instead of the 32. And so these numbers in itself, fairly consistent that what I'm seeing on the protocol so far. Let's just say we do very well. The price goes to $1. Okay, so $1 shows that the subtraction amount shows these certain percentages. So what do you think about this, Van?
No, this is great because, again, guys, if you don't understand what Chris is saying, remember, to be a solo validator, you need 32 million Pulse, right, guys? Let's actually look up the numbers, right? So we're going to go here. We need 32 million Pulse, which is about $1,295 for the 32 million Pulse, right? And now you also have to get your hardware, either your physical node or your cloud node or VPS or whatever you want to do, paying a monthly fee or just paying it straight up, how much that is. So let's just round it up. So it's 1,300 plus. Let's say you get the physical node from us, another 1,700. Well, actually, it wouldn't even be 1,300 because again, it's half, guys. So basically, what I'm trying to say is you're basically being a node operator for half the price instead of the 1,300. It'll be about what the 650 for a higher AP, for higher yield. Why? Again, because of Project Pi yield, the PPY token, our utility governance token. Liquid staking is really big on a lot of other protocols, right? On Ethereum, you have Lido and Rocket Pool. Awesome. That's exactly what Project Pi is doing. We are not only bringing liquidity to Postchain and Project Pi, we want to bring liquidity and more eyes on anywhere and everywhere we can. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're an infrastructure company first. Yes, we started on Postchain. Yes, we love Postchain. But again, we are not stuck to one chain. We're multi-chain. So long term, and again, thank you for the early supporters. Long term, if people support us early and are using our protocol and the rewards are going nice, that's great. But what's going to happen when we go to different chains? A lot of the people are going to see, oh, what's Postchain? And then by that time we mature, we'll have restaking. And I think you guys get it. But no, yeah, this is great. And I think it's really good to see these numbers and kind of see like the back end. But I urge all of you guys who are watching this video now or in the future, please utilize your testnet. Get some T-Pulse. You can go to official faucet and stake. Yeah, PPY. Want to be a node operator? Let us know. DM us. We'll give you some PPY. Just make sure you have your 60 million T-Pulse. Or if you were the first 100 early stakers, all you need is 8 million.
Well, no, for the 8 million part will actually be still for mainnet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So for the test net, it's all just 16. But for mainnet, for sure, if you were one of the first 100, then you'll be 8 million. In which I'll make a calculator for that as well. And then I also want to, this is in Google Sheets right now, so I'm going to actually move this calculator over into code, and then I'll add it onto our actual site on hub.projectpi.xyz, so that if you're curious and want to play around with the numbers, then you can. Right now, just starting, I did make the collateral at 25%. For the actual calculator on our website, I'll add 25% all the way up to 150%. And I think that, actually speaking and talking about the values in itself, I think that's very important because, when we first talked about our protocol, we were mostly talking about liquid staking in itself. And those numbers are still fairly consistent between the 3 to 7%. I'm looking really as like my personal thing, like goal, whatnot, would be 4 to 7, but still trying to keep the balance to where the liquid stakers in itself are not just completely earning so much that it just makes it unattractive for the actual validators. We still want the validators to have a very attractive amount of APY, because running nodes in itself is not an easy task. I can go over some more numbers because I actually been utilizing the protocol more. And one thing to also share too is this node is actually supposed to. I've been simulating some things, so like just seeing like what happens when if the person is actually validating and their end date has already passed. What we want to do, at least for the individuals that are validating, is still allow them to withdraw at a timely manner, because if you're going to you're ultimately responsible for your validator. So even the withdrawals, we're going to ensure that if a person isn't withdrawing in a timely manner, then their PPY would be slashed. But this validator in itself is still active. I actually had added this feature, I want to say last week. Time is moving pretty fast. But basically, when you're on your dashboard and you have your validator set up and everything, you'll see that your validator is active and you'll see your index. So if you wanted to go to the beacon and check your node, then you will be able to see more details based off that as well. So this one actually is still staking, even though it should actually be withdrawn. But again, this is testnet, just messing around with everything. The total PPY burn, been messing around with that as well. As far as analytics, you can see the actual total deposits, the total Pi pool, T pulse, the amount 7 hours ago. So 7 hours ago, the reward cycle actually hit. So on testnet, it's once a day. On mainnet, it would be once every 14 days. So for testnet, it's just every day that the rewards sync for the liquid stakers. On mainnet, it'll be every 14 days. But even still, just seeing the APY in itself on the protocol for testnet, 5.39%. Total stakers is at 15, and then the T pulse to ST pulse dash T exchange rate is 1.001182. We can actually go to liquid stake and see how that translate, and then it should be fairly consistent. The exchange rate here is the same. It corresponds to, where is that? This value here. It's just swap. That's all. But 15, and then the total amount. So let's say you have some ST pulse. Let's say you have a million ST pulse. That already right now would equate to you being able to redeem, and you would earn an extra 1,182 pulse, which again, being on testnet, those aren't like super duper nice numbers unless pulse was at $1. Like that would be beautiful. But it's just showing that the system in itself is working. I can actually redeem it and actually see that amount would actually go into my wallet, but I'm not going to do that. And then I have the Pi pools. So total Pi pools is 9 that actually have interacted with the protocol. We can actually go to Pi pools website real quick. I'll refresh the page. So with the Pi pools website, you're actually able to see just all of the validators or potential validators that have been interacting with the protocol, or not validators, but Pi pool operators. The first 2 actually were canceled, and then the middle 3 were finished. So they actually did work. And then the 6 through 9 is actually working. And number 9, shout out to Troy. He's actually running one right now on our protocol. And also, Troy, if you're watching this, check your dashboard, because rewards have came into your system. For testnet, it's 5, 10, and 15 days for the duration to actually be on our protocol. And so every 5 days, your T-Pulse would go into your account, basically your dashboard. So your T-Pulse, let me actually go here. I can actually show it real quick. So if I go to dashboard, and then let's see, this is trying to actually see. Let me refresh the page. This should be it. Yep, there we go. I didn't refresh the page. So this account actually received some rewards as well for being a node operator for 10 days. So on testnet, it's 5, 10, and 15 days. On mainnet, it'll be 15 days minimum to 1 year, or 365 days. So every 15 days, you would be seeing your pulse in your account. So for this example, if I were to click withdraw partial rewards, I would click partial rewards. Let me actually reject it, and let me actually go to the Pi pools to see how much I was supposed to be getting, which is the 26,301.37. So this is how much that this account is supposed to be receiving. So I can also check the wallet, and let's see. So that is basically going to be the T-Pulse here. So this should be up an extra 26 or so. So let's go ahead and run it. Let's click withdraw partial rewards. Let's click confirm. And then let's actually open up MetaMask real quick and see the value go up. Okay. All right. You saw it?
Yep.
You saw it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it did do what it needed to do. And then also I implemented in the code where the withdraw partial rewards only pops up when there are partial rewards. After that, it's gone, as you can tell. So let's go back to pools and let's actually refresh the page. This is the staker. We can actually confirm that because it's 0xFD1. If I were to go back here and scroll down, 0xFD1. So that is very consistent. And so from there, if I refresh the page, look at where ID number 8, the 26,000 right here, in the Pulse Node Op partial rewards, you'll see where that goes. Okay, so number 8 is right here. And so the rewards withdrawn is now in its correct location. And so that is showing that you have the correct location for the node operator to receive partial rewards. You also have the Pulse Liquid Staker partial rewards as well. So we have that. And so it will show the actual total amount, which is actually fairly consistent as well. And so let's see. Yep, these are still running. These are finished. These are canceled. I actually made it to where when it's canceled, it shouldn't show any type of validator because you canceled in the Pi pool. So you didn't have a validator connected. In finished, because the person has withdrawn out of the validator, their withdrawn status, would be withdrawn exit. And so then from there, they would, there shouldn't be anything happening with their validator at this point. The 32 million Pulse would be in their rewards, would be going back into Pi Pools protocol. And so from there, you would just see that the validator would, or rather it showed just the index. So these just show the index, but staking would show you that it is indeed active and that the index for this validator is up and running as well. All right, what do you think? It's a lot, huh?
Taking my CEO hat off and just being a user. When launch? No, but no, for real, guys, we're super excited. I mean, as you can see, we have something that's working. But again, there could be bugs. So again, please use our protocol. But Chris and I have been working day in and day out, making sure this protocol is on point. Still coding, still getting smart contracts audited. We are in our private round, so if you're interested, please DM us. We will send you the form. But no, this is great. And the favorite thing, man, man. I love seeing that chart, guys. Can you kind of maybe go over this chart and see what we're looking at?
Yeah. So essentially, with this chart, it's going to show that the TPPY inflation over time. This translate very well over on mainnet as well. The only difference is that on mainnet, again, the reward cycle is every 28 days versus on testnet, I set it to 8 days. Just so I can actually see everything in motion with something that's obviously working. But I didn't want it to be, every 28 days to see rewards coming in on testnet environment. But the chart in itself, it starts at 215,404,000, and it will basically PPY in itself would inflate over a 4-year span, and the value at the end of it all would be 314 million, 314 million PPY. The reason for this is, well, the node operators, for validating blocks and making sure that Pulse Chain is running efficiently, we need to ensure that they're getting their PPY. So what's going to end up happening is, out of the entire amount of PPY, so if I were to go back to, let's say I go back to I'll use the testnet one for now. So every 8 days, basically, this amount, not this amount. This is the amount, but it's basically a fraction of it. So it's actually going to be much higher. Let me actually go to calculator. And so every 8 days, what's happening is you have the 383,000. So 383,952.15. We're going to divide that by 0.85. Okay, so what's happening is that every 8 days on testnet, this amount of PPY is actually being rewarded into the system, basically via inflation. 85%, which these numbers, when I first started, was a little lower. It was 80%, and then 20% that was going to, I want to say 20% was going to basically us for, keeping and managing everything, making sure everything's running properly. 20%, I believe, is too high for the team to earn. So I reduced it. So basically, every 28 days, or rather for testnet, every 8 days, 85% of PPY is going to be distributed to the node operators. 5%, or rather, no, I'll do 10%. So 10% will actually come to Project Pi, and then 5% is going to be burned. We wanted to add some burn mechanisms into this. I think that's what's going to, make this more attractive, and we just don't want it to be just completely net inflationary. So if I were to multiply this by 0.85, then that equals the value that you see here. And so we can go back to this chart here. Basically, the amount of PPY you can see has been burned. This chart in itself will span over a 4-year period. After 4 years, there will be no more PPY. That will actually just be made via inflation. So then it'll just be deflationary in a way, because another deflationary aspect, which I can actually go back to the Pi pools, is if there was let's say a person like not necessarily a bad actor, but they just forgot to withdraw out of their validator, then some of their PPY would be slashed. For example, this number 6 here is the owner is this wallet here. So if I were to go to the dashboard, and that is this person here, it said it ended June 26th, which is obviously like two and a half weeks ago. So just, simulating that as well. This person would, one, only receive the rewards, and, still kind of in discussion with my CEO here about how we'll want to handle this, where if a person, let's say they staked for 5 days, no, they staked for 10 days, but they selected the duration for 5. Well, should we pay them out the 10 days or should we pay them out the 5 days? And I think in the future iteration of this protocol, we would basically set something in place where they would be able to earn, even though they selected 5 days, we would extend that out for the 10 days in total that they actually staked. But for now, we're just making it to where it's fairly simple. You are solely responsible for the duration that you choose. You validate and you say you want to validate for 30 days. Well, you have 30 days to validate. Anything after that, you're not necessarily going to be earning that amount. And then you'll be penalized and loss of some PPY that will be slashed from your actual PPY staked. So some PPY was actually slashed from this value, which we can actually look and see here. That would be number 6. You can see the date here is consistent, the 6/26. And you can see that the PPY slash amount is 21.92. We can pull out a calculator again. So if I was to do calculator and I said 21.92 and we multiply this, let's just assume TGE, so 0.03 cents. We equal that to about 65 cents or so in PPY that was lost. But this happened twice because the person was supposed to be out almost 2 weeks ago. So this person basically lost $1.30, almost $1.32 basically. So, just something to keep in mind. But the PPY that also was slashed will be burned as well. So that will go into the burn. That is something that we implemented, and we know that after the 4 years of the net inflation, that the process in itself would be deflationary, because then it would be just considering the burned PPY from the individuals that just didn't do what they needed to do. But in this chart, I basically just added just the intervals. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit because it's a lot of intervals. I think I'm gonna just set it to maybe every 28-day intervals. I think that's probably going to be much easier to read for mainnet. This is just still testing the environment. But the dot in itself, I've inflated this, I want to say about 4 times already. And the dot is actually the total current supply. So the dot is still on track with the values that it's supposed to be showing. And then another thing too is this: after you have the PPY inflation, and then you have the PPY inflation after the burn. So you should be able to see how much was burned. You'll see the difference in orange as each interval passes, how much is actually going to be burned. And so I don't have the numbers on me, but I have it on my iPad. From what I last checked, the right now, and on mainnet, it'll be net inflationary. I want to say about 9.2 0.91% over the year. And the burn rate in itself for the year would be somewhere around 2.33 or 2.3% for the year by year basis. So yeah, I mean, just making sure everything is, transparent, and just putting everything out there in the open as far as what's going on. The last section here is just the fees. What I'm going to do is, and I already added this into our docs.projectpi.xyz or our documentation. Basically, I can actually go to that real quick. So if I go to Hub and then I go to documentation, I can see the fees and penalties. There's a few extra things that I have to add into the documentation, like the burn that I just mentioned for PPY. But for the liquid staking section, the withdrawal fee, it'll basically be that 4% applied to all liquid staking withdrawals. So, just assuring that it's a fair system, in itself, just minimal withdrawals as far as like fees wise. It covers the operational costs. It's going to be allocated to the Project Pi Foundation. My CEO and I, we have just discussed, because we teach at Stillman College and Georgia State as, some of our partners, and some other things that we want to do, like workshops and hackathons. We want to use the fees for stuff like that, as well as just improving the entire protocol infrastructure in itself. What we also want to do is, and this was something I thought of last minute, but I think it'll be very attractive for the Pulse chain community in itself, is 1% of the total withdrawal fees collected. So basically 25% of the total 4% fees will be transferred to a dead wallet at the end of every month. Probably going to coincide with the every 28 days for the reward cycle. And basically just removes the Pulse from circulation. Want to add in a deflationary element to Pulse as well. Aim to, reduce the total supply of Pulse over time. And hopefully that not only increases Pulse's value, but, strategically, I think it just benefits long-term holders. We want to contribute to the overall health and stability of Pulse Chain's network. And I think that it would enhance the value proposition for the community as well. Again, these are just some ideas that my CEO and I, we have discussed and talked about, but I think that this would be very good for the community in the long run, as well as the protocol in itself. Ultimately, it aligns with the goal of creating a secure, efficient, and beneficial ecosystem for all of the participants. And so, yeah, that's for liquid staking in itself. And again, 4%, 25% of the 4% or 1% basically would be burned in Pulse. And that's going to be once a month. And so, yeah, I mean, any thoughts? What you got?
No, I think you covered it all, man. I guess to kind of wrap it up, guys, again, we're in testnet. We just talked numbers. We went over the testnet APY, the rewards, PPY, Project Pi yield token, ST Pulse, private round. What I will do is, if you are on our email list, I will send out an email basically kind of going over everything, recapping, or basically sending a link to this live AMA, as well as talking about the private round and Standard Crypto and a bunch of other stuff that we got going on.
Yeah,
but,
I guess I can talk about that for a split. So Standard Crypto basically was created by Coinbase, and basically their whole goal is to educate government officials and U.S. representatives about the importance of blockchain and crypto. And Project Pi was selected to go out to DC to talk to some representatives. We represent the state of Georgia because that's where Project Pi basically resides. And so I went to talk to some of the staffers for Senators Raphael Warnock and I want to say, is it Tim Osnoff? I can never remember his first name, but is it John?
I think so.
I have to look for look for a picture, but you know, okay, yeah, John. I don't know why I keep thinking of Tim, but yeah, basically just went out there and talked to the staffers that basically would talk to those senators directly and just explain just the importance of not just crypto, but just blockchain and the future of this technology. I know that at the same time, while that was happening, while I was there yesterday, they were having a lot of sessions. One of the sessions that was talked about on Twitter that I saw that it was a congressman that said that 70 to 80% of all cryptos are more commodity based. So that was actually really good. And, it just shedding light, basically just shedding light on the technology and how important everything is. I'm always thankful for Coinbase for allowing us to be able to participate in that for the second time. I had did it before in September, but yeah, Coinbase, stand with crypto, Project Pi, we stand for it, as advocates for blockchain, crypto, and the technology, as well as, us building on PulseChain, wanted to represent, we're building on this chain and we want to also make sure that we represent and just let people know like what we're doing. So, I just came back in not too long ago. So yeah, just trying to let everyone know what's going on. But I definitely wanted to get these numbers ran by everybody. Always want to be transparent and just let everyone know just the importance of Pi pools and knowing that with what we're building, it's going to be something that will be very beneficial for the validators. I see it as be a supplement. It will supercharge the validators for PulseChain ultimately. What do you guys say about that?
I agree, but I also just want to give a shout out to my boy Anton. Thank you again for the support. He just messaged us while we're doing a live AMA.
Oh.
He says, loving the stream. You guys are killing it. Protocol looking good. And he was one of our early stakers. So, definitely going to help him out there. But again, our, Coinbase's mission is on point. And other blockchains missions, 10 and 5, hashtag 10 and 5, top 10 Web3, hubs in the next 5 years. We're year 2 going to year 3. And then, ultimately the Project Pi mission, right? Education is, I think, both of our forefront, our mottos, right? We love to tinker, we love to build, but we love to educate. I think that's really important, especially, looking back, a year and a half now to today, you gotta tinker, you gotta educate yourself. You don't have to, but I think it'll be beneficial for you to understand how everything works from inside and out. And I think, Chris and I being tinkers, that's why, we're just having fun. You just got to figure out how everything works. Like, it's cool that you're using our product protocol, but we love having these AMAs. We love being transparent. We love talking to you guys. Again, we are here, guys. If you have questions, join the Telegram, ask questions, comment, just let us know. If you have anything, just let us know. We're here. Again, if you need equipment, we do sell the full node kit for $16.99, keyboard, mouse, physical node, 4 terabytes of storage, 64 gigabytes of RAM.
Yep.
And then
we
have everything, guys.
We'll we've been, again, we talk all the time. We're always talking, and we're always next to each other, just coming up with ideas. I think that because the we're in discussion. I can't, talk names as far as like, partners and this and that right now. It's just too early, but we're in discussion with some individuals, and we want to make sure that the actual infrastructure in itself is also very affordable too. But we've been in discussion about the physical node aspect of it all too, because we understand that with Postchain having 40,000 plus nodes, and almost 50,000. I think it actually hit that at one point. Yeah, it was like more. It was like 52,000 active validators. Um, the decentralization aspect of it is very crucial and very critical. And I know that this blockchain, and especially the community, they are advocates for it. And we are too, so that's why we're going to continue to sell the physical nodes with what we're doing. But we actually were thinking about that. Okay, I see that. I'm gonna have to fix that as soon as I get off the chat. But I'm thinking that what we may end up doing is, because it's the physical node in itself, it costs a little bit more upfront. Maybe supplementing that with some of the PPY that's basically needed on our protocol. So like, you purchase a physical node, you have some of the collateral already ready to go, and then you just come to validate, create a Pi pool, and then you would just register your node from there. I think that would be something that would be very beneficial, because we know that spending quite a bit of money on the actual validators is quite a bit, even if you don't come to us. On average, is somewhere between maybe like still about 1,000 or so to run one of these things. And but if you do, again, and you come to us, then yeah, we will supplement the PPY. That's an idea that we've been discussing and talking about as well. What do you think about that?
I think that's great. I think it's a beautiful feedback loop, right? Again, our mission, well, obviously decentralizing blockchains, but simplified, secure, decentralized node infrastructure company. We're an infrastructure company first, and it's enabling anyone and everyone, whether that's B2B, B2C, protocol, startup, whatever. We're here for you to help you build out your infrastructure. Your physical node, have it there, or on the cloud if you want to do that. But if you come to us, not only will we supply you with everything that you need, but I think supplementing the token as well too. I think it's a win-win. You're getting to becoming a node operator for half the price for higher APY. That's a no-brainer in my opinion. But hey, again, we're here. We're always transparent with everything we're doing. So again, if you have any questions, please reach out.
As well as some nice feedback too. This is in itself like a very intricate protocol. You can clearly see like there's literally so many different little websites, and the math of it all, just as far as like getting everything together. It's a lot, but I know that with our ideas, we've came thus far, but we're open to some other ideas, or if there's any constructive criticism or any type of critique, we're open to it. Just let us know. As we are transparent, be transparent with us. Let us know, because we want to. We've built this out up to this point, and we're both excited to be on mainnet once that happens. And mind you, that's still TBD. Right now we're in our raise, in our private round right now, which just started. So that's where we're at. But as we, progress and we move forward, we definitely will want to look into what else is needed to be done. We have a lot of visions for this, including hiring, some people. We talk about this all the time. The tracking and the monitoring of the validators in itself. That is a lot, especially for 2 people. That is quite a bit. So of course we're going to have to hire some people, and we don't mind that. So yeah, I know I'm rambling right now, but
yeah. Again, this is Project Pi. Likewise, Van, follow me on Twitter. Lefty Chris 13, the guy who was talking, our CTO. Come visit our website at projectpi.xyz. You can kind of see everything we're doing. And for those who don't know what we're doing, again, this is Project Pi. We are a node infrastructure company in DeFi protocols, specifically liquid staking on Pulse Chain. We provide the hardware, we have the software, and we have the protocol. So it's a triple whammy. Again, please join the Telegram, follow us on Twitter, and you can find us on LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever. So again, signing off. Thank you guys again, and you have a good one. Peace.
Peace.